In the summer of 1947, something fell from the sky over a remote ranch in Roswell, New Mexico. What followed was a story that would ignite a global obsession with flying saucers and alien visitors. For over 70 years, the Roswell Incident has been the cornerstone of UFO lore, a tale of a crashed alien spacecraft and a massive government cover-up. But what really happened out there in the high desert? Today, we're peeling back the layers of mystery and misinformation to uncover the untold truth of the Roswell UFO crash. This is a story you haven't heard. It all started in early July 1947 when a rancher named W.W. Mack Brazel discovered a field of strange debris on his property. It wasn't like anything he'd ever seen before. The material was lightweight yet incredibly strong, with metallic foil that could be crumpled up but would immediately return to its original shape without a single crease. There were also I-beams with strange, purplish-pink symbols on them, resembling hieroglyphics. Intrigued and slightly bewildered, Brazel gathered some of the material and a few days later reported his find to Sheriff George Wilcox in Roswell. Wilcox, in turn, contacted the nearby Roswell Army Airfield, home to the 509th Bombardment Group, the only atomic bomb squadron in the world at the time. This is where the story takes its first dramatic turn. Major Jesse Marcel, the base's intelligence officer, was sent to investigate. He accompanied Brazel back to the ranch and was astounded by what he saw. He later described the debris field as being vast, spread over a square mile. Marcel collected samples and brought them back to the base. On July 8, 1947, the public information officer Walter Haut, under orders from the base commander, Colonel William Blanchard, issued a press release that would shock the world. The headline read, "RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region." The story was an immediate sensation, picked up by newspapers across the globe. For a brief moment, it seemed the Army had confirmed the existence of extraterrestrial visitors. But just as quickly as the story broke, it was retracted. The very next day, the military held a press conference. Brigadier General Roger Ramey, Marcel's superior at the 8th Air Force Headquarters in Fort Worth, Texas, presented the debris to reporters. But this wasn't the strange, unearthly material Marcel had described. This was the wreckage of a common weather balloon. Major Marcel was ordered to pose for photographs with the flimsy rubber and foil, and the official story was set. The flying saucer was nothing more than a misidentified weather balloon. The case was officially closed. The public was told to move on. For decades, that was the end of the story. The Roswell incident faded into a quirky footnote in the early days of the Cold War. But the story wouldn't stay buried. In the late 1970s, interest in Roswell was reignited. Key witnesses, finally free from their military careers and oaths of secrecy, began to speak out. Jesse Marcel, the intelligence officer who first collected the debris, went public, stating emphatically that what he saw was not of this world, and that the weather balloon story was a cover-up. He claimed he had been forced to participate in the charade. His testimony opened the floodgates. Soon, dozens of other witnesses came forward with their own incredible accounts. Some were military personnel, others were local civilians. Their stories painted a far more complex and startling picture. Witnesses like Glenn Dennis, a young mortician in Roswell at the time, claimed he received strange inquiries from the Air Base Hospital about child-sized coffins and how to preserve bodies that had been exposed to the elements. He also spoke of a frantic nurse he knew who described seeing small bodies with large heads during autopsies at the base. Another key witness was Sergeant Frank Kaufman, who worked at the Roswell base and claimed to have been part of a special team tasked with securing the crash site. He described a much larger craft, not just a debris field, and spoke of seeing alien bodies being transported. Even Walter Haut, the public information officer who issued the original press release, left a sealed affidavit to be opened after his death. In it, he confirmed that he had seen not only the craft, but also the bodies of its non-human occupants, and that the weather balloon story was a deliberately crafted cover story. These first-hand accounts, many from credible military sources, transformed Roswell from a simple misidentification into a potential conspiracy of epic proportions. So, if it wasn't a weather balloon, what was it? The sheer number of witnesses and the consistency of their accounts forced the U.S. Air Force to reopen the case in the 1990s. This led to the release of two major reports. The first, in 1994, titled The Roswell Report, Fact versus Fiction in the New Mexico Desert, offered a new explanation. It wasn't a standard weather balloon. they admitted, but a top-secret high-altitude balloon array known as Project Mogul. This was a classified project designed to detect sound waves from Soviet atomic bomb tests using microphones carried by massive balloon trains. The report claimed that the strange hieroglyphics were actually floral pattern tape used by one of the project's engineers, and the memory foil was a material used in the balloon's radar reflectors. This explanation accounted for the unusual debris, the military's initial secrecy, and the subsequent cover-up. A project intended to spy on the Soviet Union's nuclear program would have been one of the most sensitive secrets of the early Cold War. Admitting its existence was not an option. So the simpler, more dismissible weather balloon story was concocted. This Project Mogul theory is now the official explanation and is accepted by many skeptics as the most logical solution to the mystery. It explains the debris, the secrecy, and why someone like Major Marcel, an intelligence officer, wouldn't recognize the materials. They were part of a highly classified project he wasn't read into. But what about the bodies? The Project Mogul explanation doesn't account for the numerous eyewitness testimonies of alien beings. In 1997, the Air Force released a second report, the Roswell Report. Case closed, to address this very issue. This report offered a rather macabre explanation. It suggested that the alien bodies people remembered seeing were actually anthropomorphic test dummies that were used in high-altitude parachute drop experiments. These dummies, used in projects like Operation High Dive, were dropped from balloons to test new escape systems for pilots. The report argued that over time, witnesses had simply confused their memories, merging the 1947 debris incident with later memories of seeing these test dummies from the 1950s. This theory of time compression and false memories has been heavily criticized by UFO researchers and many of the witnesses themselves. They argue that their memories are clear and distinct. People like Glenn Dennis and Walter Haut were adamant that their experiences happened in 1947, not years later. Furthermore, the dummies used in the 50s do imperfectly match the descriptions given by witnesses of small beings with large heads and eyes. To believers, this explanation felt like another attempt by the government to dismiss and discredit the very real experiences of credible people. It raised a critical question. Was the government simply explaining away the truth? Or were dozens of people genuinely mistaken, their memories warped by decades of popular culture and speculation? So, where does that leave us? On one side, we have the official government explanation. A top-secret military project, Project Mogul, was mistaken for a flying saucer, and memories of alien bodies were a confused jumble of later events involving test dummies. This is the rational, grounded explanation. It requires no leaps of faith, only an acceptance of government secrecy and the fallibility of human memory over long periods. It's neat, tidy, and closes the case. On the other side, we have the conspiracy theory, fueled by dozens of compelling first-hand accounts from military personnel and civilians who swear they saw something extraordinary. They describe otherworldly materials, a crashed craft, and non-human bodies. For this to be true, it would mean a massive, multi-generational government cover-up, one designed to hide the most profound discovery in human history, that we are not alone in the universe. This theory asks us to believe that hundreds of people were involved in a conspiracy of silence, and that the government has been lying to the public for over 70 years. The truth of Roswell likely lies somewhere in the murky depths between these two extremes. Was it a weather balloon? Almost certainly not a standard one. Was it Project Mogul? That explains the debris and the secrecy quite well, but does it explain the bodies? That's where the official story feels incomplete to many. Perhaps there was more than one incident. Perhaps the debris from Project Mogul was used to cover up a far more significant event that happened nearby. The true story may be a complex tapestry woven from threads of secret military projects, genuine unexplained phenomena, and the powerful human desire to believe in something beyond our world. Ultimately, the Roswell incident has become more than just a historical event. It's a modern myth. It represents the ultimate clash between official authority and personal testimony, between skepticism and belief. Whether you believe it was a balloon, a secret project, or a ship from another world, the story of what fell in the New Mexico desert in 1947 continues to challenge our understanding of the world and our place in the cosmos. The truth is still out there, buried under layers of time, secrecy, and speculation. What do you think really happened? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into one of history's greatest mysteries. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an exploration into the unknown. We'll see you in the next video.